In 1989, oceanographers discovered an intriguing noise. It sounded a lot like a whale, but it was a frequency much higher than any whale was known to speak. They determined that this whale had a genetic mutation that prevented it from being able to communicate with any other whale on the planet. They dubbed it 52, which was the hertz that it spoke at, and they dubbed it the loneliest whale in the world. Fast forward 25 years. Many of the people that were born around this area are now entering the workforce at record pace. Many cities are having trouble communicating and attracting millennials like myself. And I'll tell you a personal story. My hometown banned an internationally popular app, despite tremendous social media outrage. But many of the city council was not even aware that there was public outrage. Even some of them didn't see social media as a legitimate form of communication. And these types of miscommunications are only going to increase as millennials enter the workforce. So what's important is first to understand what makes millennials tick. Well, first, we have very different methods of communication and very different priorities to previous generations. We grew up on the internet. For most of us, we communicate through a keyboard instantaneously, and geography doesn't matter. For a lot of us, our number one priority is not seeking the highest paying job like most of our parents, but seeking a fulfilling job. One that has a healthy work-life balance and gives us an opportunity to give back to our communities. However, the reason that this is so important is because we are looking at a record-breaking 50-year work life. We are going to work on average 7 jobs spanning 3 careers. In all likelihood, the job that we retire from doesn't exist now. Put that in perspective. So it's increasingly difficult to communicate with millennials when we're facing this on the front end. We're looking for a different type of communication, and cities are running into this problem. The reason it's important to attract us, however, many cities have just written it off. And they have said, we don't know how to communicate with them. Well, it's important because we're the largest generation since the baby boomers, which is the largest in history. Increasingly, because we are the first global generation, the standards that millennials are setting is becoming an international standard. And as cities continue to see aging populations, having a young workforce is critical. So how do cities attract and retain millennials? First, you have to be able, at the city leadership, the business leaders, and individuals like ourselves must communicate that there are opportunities to seek fulfilling work. Secondly, that there is an opportunity to have a healthy work-life balance where we have the opportunity to travel, where we have the opportunities to experience the city's culture. Lastly, that has to be communicated that there are opportunities so that we can add our own personal individuality to our city's character. Cities that fail to effectively communicate these advantages will continue to see decreasing numbers of millennials, and they will increasingly become frustrated by the process. However, cities that can effectively communicate these advantages will see a core group of millennials move into their city centers and invite their friends. They will give back to the communities and make them stronger. But at the bottom line is this. If cities want to attract and retain millennials, it begins with communicating on our wavelength.